All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. We're going to do kind of a preview for the Legion show tomorrow and also the other show in Italy tomorrow. But first, I want to talk about Michal Krizo a little bit. So as you guys know from my previous video, Michal Krizo won both his pro card and the overall title at the Olympia Amateur. But there's some other bodybuilders that are currently IFBB pros that had some things to say about that. But first, Michal Krizo acknowledged his victory in his own Instagram post, saying, "Okay, Italian job is done, overall winner and new IFBB pro," which, again, I think this was a relatively easy win for him. Not much competition. I don't think he really needed to do much here to obtain that victory. And I've been seeing him get a lot of criticism in the comment sections, and one of the guys that had something to say was blessing Awodibu. So in one of the comment sections on the Buys and Tries Instagram page, Blessing commented, "Welcome to the ass-whooping league." Then he also left another comment, which I thought was actually a really interesting idea. He said, he tagged Brett Wilkin and James Hollingshead, and he said, "Please do the same show that this guy is doing. That would be fun to watch. It will be a nice welcome gift." Now that, I think, is an interesting comment, because the show he's doing is the Prague Pro at the end of the month. James is clearly in shape because he's competing this weekend. He could stay in shape just a couple weeks longer, compete in Prague against Michal Krizo. Brett Wilkin is doing Romania, which I believe he's currently 5 weeks out from now. So he could just compete early, 2 weeks early, and do that show. And I actually really like this idea. If there's bodybuilders in shape that are thinking about still competing before the Olympia, maybe James, maybe Justin Rodriguez, who's competing tomorrow at Legion, maybe a guy like Brett Wilkin who still has to qualify, maybe Patrick Johnson, Mark Hector. If we get some of these good guys in that Prague lineup, I would like to see Michal Krizo compete against these guys. I think if he really lives up to the hype that he's been getting, it should be no problem for him to beat some of these top-level pros like Brett, like James, like Mark, like, who did I say? Justin. And they're not like top-tier pros. They're not like top 6 Olympians. But they're very competitive, dangerous pros. So if Michal Krizo really lives up to his hype, I think he shouldn't have a problem with that. So I think that would be a good idea to get some of these top guys that are in shape now to compete in the Prague Pro. Now, another bodybuilder that was calling out James in the comment sections of some of these posts was Iain Valliere. In this first post that he commented, it was the caption of the post, it was like a congratulations post for Michal Krizo on Buys and Tries. And in the caption, they also had, "Now he's one pro show away from the Olympia." And Ian, I guess making a decent point here, says, "LOL, literally every single pro is one win away." Now, Ian also responded to a comment on a post on my page, a video of Michal Krizo from that Olympia Amateur, and the guy Stacks in Iron commented and tagged Iain Valliere. He said, Ian is more peeled at 10 weeks out than Krizo was here." And Ian responds to say, "Duh." Jason Poston was also in that comment section. He said, "IFBB physique guys are more conditioned. This wasn't cut it." I think he meant this won't cut it. So Krizo's kind of getting a mixed welcome to the Pro League. I've seen a lot of positive comments congratulating him on his post from some current pros. I've seen a lot of pros that weren't really impressed with how he looked, and I'm curious to see how he does at Prague now, because again, I really do feel like he did not peak for this show, or really didn't even prepare for this show. He looked good, but he just didn't look great. This didn't look like a peaked version of Krizo, and I think he is obviously saving that for the pro show. I think he knew that this show was going to be kind of a walk in the park for him, not really a big challenge, as long as he wasn't totally, ridiculously off. I think he was on enough to win, but he was also like 100 pounds bigger than the next biggest guy, so he did more than enough to win here. But I do think we're going to see a much better version of him in Prague, and probably at the Olympia as well, which I do think he's going to be able to get to. I think he will qualify for the Olympia, and I'm not going to be surprised when he does so. So let's talk a little bit about the show tomorrow. You got Legion Sports Festival for one. The two guys that I'm really looking at here, number one would be Justin Rodriguez. This is his big comeback show. He currently is qualified for the Olympia based off point standings right now, but there's a chance that he could get knocked off that point standings. He wants to go in there off of a professional win, and if he's like runner-up or third place or whatever here, he would have enough points that really nobody is going to place ahead of him in the point standings, and he could still go to the Olympia. So he posted this picture showing off the conditioning that he has about a day out from the show. He says, "If you want some more Christmas gifts from this tree, come this Sunday to Reno, Nevada for the Legion Sports Festival." So Justin looking for some redemption here. I think his physique was really tired, really burnt out after the frequency that he was competing earlier on in the season. And you saw his placings continue to get worse and worse. And I think his physique continued to fade the more he competed. So he took a break. He got a new coach. He's now working with George Farah, and he was originally going to take the rest of the year off, skip the Olympia, not worry about qualifying, not try to win a show, and just give his body a break. It looks like he's cutting that break short to do the Legion Sports Festival and hopefully get to the Olympia. And that's the big question that we're looking to see answered tomorrow is, was that a good decision or not? Should he have continued his break, really worked on improving his physique and resting his physique? Or do you think he's good enough now to go into this show and win? Personally, I think it's not the deepest lineup. We're going to talk about some of the other guys in a minute. These are guys that Justin has beaten in the past, at least some of them. And I got to say, he does look like he's in pretty good shape just judging off this one photo. He hasn't posted many physique updates leading into this show, but this one I think looks impressive. He looks like he's got some pretty good conditioning, some pretty good detail, at least whenever this photo was taken. So right now, Justin is my favorite to win the Legion show. Now, there's two other guys that I'm really interested in seeing. One is a.k.a. the Giant, Jamie Johal, who's been competing a lot. And he's been really impressive for a taller guy. I think he's like 6'5". He weighs over 300 pounds on stage. With taller guys, it seems like it's a lot harder for them to really fill out their physique and look as balanced as some of these other guys do. Because a lot of bodybuilders are like 5'9" and under, and it's a lot easier to fill out a shorter frame and shorter limbs than it is a 6'5" guy. But this was one of the more impressive recent updates that he's posted. Jamie Johal just a couple days out from the Legion show. And I think he's kind of underrated. I think he might be getting overlooked. I think for a taller guy, he's a pretty complete bodybuilder. You could say that he needs to fill out his frame more, but I think he looks really, really good for a taller guy. I think he's made a lot of improvements over the past couple of years. And I've been really impressed with both the frequency that he's been competing and some of the placings that he's been getting. And I think as they compare him to the top guys more and more at the shows that he has been doing, I think they start to realize he's pretty good. His conditioning has been really good. He's got a nice shape, very, very small waist. Obviously, big, wide shoulders, wide upper body, creating the V-taper because he is so tall, such a big guy. I really like his physique, and I think he could be a guy that does really well at this Legion show, and very different physique from Justin Rodriguez. And the third guy that I'm really looking at for top 3 at this Legion show, Tonio Burton. He posted this update, and I think there clearly is some kind of filter on here, probably a sharpened filter, but I believe this was today, one day out. He looks very impressive here as well. He's a guy that's been dangerous at the shows that he's done. He's known for his good conditioning. I think he can be a guy that could really come in here and surprise a lot of people, especially against Justin if Justin is off, especially against Jamie Johal, a much taller, bigger guy. Not as many people are familiar with Tonio Burton, but he's had some pretty good results lately, some pretty good placings in open. And I think he could be a guy that comes in here and looks extremely dangerous. But again, it's not the deepest lineup, so I think Justin right now is my favorite and my pick to win out of these guys. Stanimal's in there as well. I think some of the updates from Stanimal have been looking pretty good compared to some of the updates that he's posted for past preps. Now, as far as the Italy show tomorrow, it's called the Tsunami Pro. I believe you can watch it on the same website that you watched if you watched the Olympia amateur stream, which was also in Italy. And so far, the two main guys that I'm looking at there are Mark Hector and James Hollingshead. Neither of them have posted a physique update since their last show, so we don't really know how either one of them are looking, but those are the two guys that I'm really excited to see in Italy tomorrow. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. I'm going to have all that coverage for you guys tomorrow, let you guys know what happened, how it went, and my opinion on all that stuff. So subscribe to the channel for that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Give it a big thumbs up, and as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing